Hello, my name is Stephen Benavides, and this is my Tableau 2 project. So to start, here I divided department sales by region, and when you do this, you can really see what two regions sort of stand out as the very high sales regions across all departments, and that is, of course, the Western and the Eastern region, with the Western selling more in mountain bikes than the Eastern region, as well as in road bikes. And when we look at triathlon, we can see here that the Eastern region beats out the Western region. And when we look at profits, once again divided by departments, and regions, we can see that again the Western region and the Eastern region sort of dominate in across all departments, and the Western region once again profits more than the Eastern region in mountain bikes and in road bikes. And when we look at triathlon bikes, we can see that the Eastern region here does beat out the Western region. So I wanted to see what was really driving these very high profits and high sales for these two particular regions. So when we look at the map here of the states, we can see that California sort of stands out as the highest profiting state, not only in the Western region, but across the entire United States. So that's really what's driving those very high profits for the Western region, as well as Washington, which has a higher profits than most other states in the area. And when we look at the Eastern region, we see here that New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio are the three states that really drive the profits and the sales for the Eastern region. So coming back to California, I wanted to see what in California specifically was making it such a profitable and such a high sales state. So here I divided up the items sold in California by department, and you can see here that the Specialized S-Works Shiv disc bike is by far the most popular bike in the state of California. And I found this pretty interesting because it does fall under the department of triathlon bikes, and if we go back here to department profit by region as well as department sales by region, remember that the Eastern region beats out the Western region only in the triathlon bikes department. So I thought that was kind of interesting because when you look at the sales for California, it's actually the one bike that really dominates for the sales there. So I wanted to go a little bit more in depth into the sales of the Specialized S-Works Shiv disc. So I looked at what cities were selling this very popular bike. And you can see here in Southern California, we sort of have this cluster where the city in which it's the most popular by far is Inglewood. And then it's also right next to Los Angeles and San Gabriel, as well as Redondo Beach. And if we go a little bit north, we see that Fresno also sells the bike, as well as San Francisco. So I compiled this information into the dashboard because I feel like it shows the most interesting bit of information, showing that the Western and Central region, the Western and the Eastern region sort of dominate the profits and the sales, and then here we see why, like what specific states are the ones that are sort of driving those sales, and also since California has the highest sales, we see that in the Specialized S-Works Shiv disc bike is the one that's really driving up those sales. And so just to recap that, the Western and the Eastern regions earn the highest profits, Western earning more in road and mountain bikes than the Eastern, and then of course the Eastern earning more in the triathlon bikes department. And when you look at the map, you of course can see which are the states that are the highest earning. I also wanted to point out that Texas and Florida also sort of stand out as very high profiting states in those respective regions, of course, Texas being part of the central region and Florida being part of the southern region. And since it sort of stands alone, these two states in their particular regions, which of course Illinois being part of the central region, they still don't seem to stack up to the amount of profit and the amount of sales generated by California and Washington for the West, and New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio for the East. And of course, when we look at the final graph for the sales, the average sales of items in the state of California, we can see that once again, the Specialized S-Works Shiv disc bike is the one that sells by far the most in California, so being the most popular, followed by the Kona Hey Hey Trail DL, and then followed by the Canodale Bad Habit. So this was my presentation. Thank you.